Hi guys, welcome to Top 12, and today we're going to look at 12 of the world's biggest unsolved mysteries. Number 1. Shugborough Inscription. So during the 18th century, a monument was constructed in Staffordshire, England that recreated a famous painting known as the Arcadian Shepherds. However, this monument had several bizarre series of letters, namely DOUOSVAVVM. A code supposedly left by the Knights Templar that once solved would supposedly lead you to the location of the Holy Grail. Some of the world's greatest minds have attempted to decode this mystery. Among these are Charles Darwin and Dickens. Unfortunately though, so far everyone has proved to be unsuccessful. Number 2. The Woe Signal. Jerry R. Herman was working on the Big Ear radio telescope in 1997. For up to 72 seconds, the signal was reported to be coming in from the Sagittarius cluster. Jerry immediately wrote down the word woe on the piece of paper, which soon became the subject of heated media attention. If aliens did indeed send that signal, it would mean that they would need to be highly more advanced than anything Earth has come up with. In 2012, we thought it was a good idea to beam back over 10,000 Twitter messages along with videos of various celebrities. Number 3. Cicada 3301. An enigmatic organisation that on 3 separate occasions has posted a set of complex puzzles in the hopes of being able to recruit highly intelligent individuals from the public. The first internet puzzle started in January 4th, 2012 and ran for approximately 1 month. Not much is known about the organisation, which has led many on the internet to believe it could be some sort of recruiting tool for a government organisation or global think tank. Number 4. The Georgia Guidestones. Sometimes as referred to as the American Stonehenge, the Georgia Guidestone is a gigantic monument erected in 1980 in Albert County, Georgia. A set of 10 guidelines is inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages, and a shorter message is inscribed at the top of the structure in 4 ancient language scripts. Among these are Babylonian, Greek, Sanskrit, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. The monument stands at the highest point in Albert County. Nobody knows who commissioned the stones or what their true purpose is. Number 5. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. In 1963, guards made a routine check into the cells of 3 inmates, Clarence, Frank, and John, and everything seemed fine. However, soon afterwards, the guards realised it wasn't the men who were originally in their beds, but actually 3 dummies that were constructed from soap and toilet paper. The thing that made this so unusual was the fact that there was no signs of escape. The trio never turned up again. Their bodies weren't discovered, and nobody knows if they made it to the mainland and escaped. The whole thing is a huge mystery. Number 6. The Lost City of Atlantis. Known in Greek as the Island of Atlas. One of the first historic documentations of Atlantis was in Plato's work, in which he describes the fabled island city attacking Athens. Apparently, it failed and was then sunk very soon after. He claims that it stood in front of the Pillars of Hercules. 2 places that could have potentially been Atlantis are namely the island of Santorini, which was sunk by a volcano, or Sicily, which at the time was very similar to the supposed Atlantis. However, both of these places are nowhere near the pillars. Number 7. Kryptos. Just outside the headquarters of the CIA in Langley, Virginia, you will find a statue that has a coded encryption on its surface. This very captivating sculpture was first created by a Mr. Jim Saborn to show that everything can be resolved and decoded with the use of patterns and clues. However, of the 4 inscription sections that were included, only the first 3 have ever been cracked. The 4th has yet to be solved, and not even the brilliant minds of the CIA are able to crack it. Number 8. The Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript was written in a language that men throughout the centuries have tried and failed to decode. The only idea anyone has of its origin are the drawings found on the various pages. It was originally created in the 14th century and comes with an array of colourful drawings of strange plant-like creatures and celestial diagrams. However, others believe it was a hoax, but that seems very unlikely since the money and complexity required to pull off such a hoax would have been unbelievably high at the time of the book's inception. You can find pages of the book floating around on the internet, but so far nobody has had any luck deciphering this language. Number 9. The Shroud of Turin. Otherwise known as the Turin Shroud, it is a length of linen cloth bearing the image of a man that is believed by most Christians to be the burial shroud of Jesus. Radiocarbon dating has dated it to the medieval period. The shroud is kept in a royal chapel of the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, northern Italy. The image is much clearer in black and white negative than it is in natural sepia colour. In 1988, a radiocarbon dating test was performed on a small sample of the shroud. The laboratories at the University of Oxford, the University of Arizona, and the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology concurred that the sample that they tested was from the Middle Ages, between 1260 and 1390. The validity and interpretation of the 1988 tests are still contested by some statisticians, chemists, and historians. At number 10, D.B. Cooper. D.B. Cooper is an alias used by the media to refer to an unidentified man who on November the 24th in 1971 successfully hijacked a Boeing 727 aircraft in the airspace between Portland, Oregon and Seattle, Washington. He successfully extorted $200,000 in ransom. In today's money, that equates to over $1 million. Upon receiving the ransom, he then parachuted to an uncertain fate. Despite an extensive manhunt and ongoing investigation by the FBI, he was never found. The case remains the only unsolved air piracy in American aviation history. Hundreds of leads have been pursued in the ensuing years, but no conclusive evidence has ever surfaced regarding Cooper's true identity or whereabouts. Number 11. The SS Orang Medan. The SS Orang Medan was a ghost ship which, according to various sources, became a shipwreck in Indonesian waters. What happened to SS Orang Medan in Malaysia is perhaps one of the most fascinating and mind-boggling mysteries that have ever existed in seafaring history. Everything began with an SOS message in 1947 that mentioned the captain, along with the rest of the crew, was dead. What makes this worse is that even the telegraph had died during the transmission of the message. When the Silver Star was able to receive the distress call and went to inspect the ship, they confirmed the deaths of all of those aboard. Speculations of ghosts, hazardous materials, and even aliens has been raised, but there are still non-known conclusions to what actually happened. Number 12. Jack the Ripper. Possibly one of the most famous serial killers of all time, Jack the Ripper is the best known name given to an unidentified serial killer. He was believed to have been active in the largely impoverished areas in and around the Whitechapel district of London during 1888. The name Jack the Ripper originally came from a letter written by someone claiming to be the serial killer. The letter, however, is widely believed to have been a hoax, and may have been written by journalists in an attempt to heighten the interest in the story. 5 victims, known as the Canonical Five, were murdered between the 31st of August and the 9th of November 1888 and are often considered the most likely to be linked. The murders, however, were never solved, and the legends surrounding them became a combination of genuine historical research, folklore, and pseudo-history. Jack passed into legend without his identity ever being verified. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Maybe consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments section below what kind of list you'd like to see next.